Very good morning, students. As a part of video lessons, we have already overcome Unit 1, Humor the Funniest, reading A, The Snake and the Mirror, and the poem Duck and the Kangaroo, and Little Boy. So before we start Unit 2, I wish all of you being safe at home and keeping yourselves hygienic, taking all the precautions. So expect all are doing well. And our Unit 2 is labeled Games and Sports. It's really very much inspiring, and obviously you are very much interested in games to play at school. Hope the situation will be back normal and we will be back in the school to enjoy all the learning and playing together. On Unit 2, reading A, before we start, here is a picture comprehension provided. Just have a glance. You have already a soft copy of your textbook with you. For instantaneous, I'll showcase the pic. Let us have a glance. Dream. Dream and dream high. For dreams lead to thoughts, and thoughts lead to actions. Hope you observe it. And probably you recollect the very name associated with it, that is a dream. Your favorite hero. Can you recollect who's the person associated with the word dream? This is Abdul Kalam. He used to ask all the children touring all across India to dream. What does the dream mean here? Dream is having some expectation about the future. As you are all youngsters, future of the nation, you should have dreams. Let us not imagine in a negative way. Dream is something we get in the sleep. No. An imaginary planning towards the future. That's supposed to be the dream. And always we must be thinking of it. Each time we should have our dream in the mind. When we keep on thinking of it, the thinking leads to action. That's what the saying here says. Dream, dream and dream high. For dreams lead to thoughts, and thoughts lead to actions. So, a well-defined plan is to be executed. Without execution, we cannot get succeed. So, we need to have a dream, great dream. Expectations should be so high, and we should be thinking about it always. And automatically, when we most of the time think of it, definitely we start doing. This is the success of many of the people. So that usually teachers might be asking you, what is your goal? So what does it mean the set goal is? What you would like to become? So what we like to become, we should have fixed in the mind, and what it is needed to be done, what it is needed to be done. to become that expected stage. Imagine if you would like to become a wonderful politician or a wonderful teacher, then what it is supposed to be acquired for it? That thinking process should be rigorously discussed, memorized. When it is done, you start doing whatever that is needed for that. Okay? For dreams lead to thoughts and thoughts lead to actions. It's a wonderful picture comprehension provided to you. There is a lot of scope for this. You to go beyond this and think and answer the comprehensive questions. What according to you does this quotation express? That's up to your creative imagination. What do you feel about it? How do you understand this? That you can answer. Is it essential to dream high? How can anyone make one's dream come true? We have many of the examples around us. We feel that a chaiwala is the Prime Minister today. What made him a Prime Minister? So, we have many of the examples around. And recently we celebrated the memorial anniversary of the great leader and former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao from Telangana. How he had become a successful Prime Minister in the most typical situations of the nation. All these automatically can make us understand what a successful person is supposed to do. That might be an answer for this. What is your dream in life? The most commonest question usually parents, teachers ask you, what is your goal? So, that might be yours. So, before answering this question, please think of, it's not just boasting, I become that, I become this and something. No. Please be serious this time, because we are in the serious situation of the majority of the lives, almost all the lives of people across the globe today. We are in a typical situation, corona situation. So, please think of it. Determine. Preferably express your parent. That only please refer here. What is your dream? And at last it is asked, have you ever heard of a child with special needs of becoming a champion? Special need. What is going to be a special need for a child? In the sense, in olden days we usually call people who have some lapses of physiology as physically handicapped. Physically handicapped. And later on it is refined, physically challenging. What does it mean? A child might be affected with some polio, having no capacity of walking with one leg or two legs. A child who is not able to hear properly, hearing disability. A child who is not able to watch properly, visionary disability. And few other children, they take birth with a matured mind, a maturity of mind. They can't understand just like the same age group of children. Likewise, people are with different abilities and disabilities. So such kind of people whom we are asking, we are labeling now, differently abled. You know, in olden days, with the lack of sophisticated culture and education, people use it to call them with disability. A blind man, a deaf man, something like this. But by and by we are getting very much sophisticated with the culture, with our education. We would like to give them some respectable word. So differently abled people. Okay? So the lesson we are going to deal with in reading A is about such kind of differently abled, so that here is the question. Have you ever heard of a child with special needs of becoming a champion? Why not? We come to know a girl child who has no hands, both hands, could paint well. A blind person who could sing so well, very amusing. So, to achieve something, disability is not going to be an obstacle. The only vision, the only will and ability of practice that makes us successful. So comparing to those such kind of people, we are all physically able persons. So we can aim for something so high. So please remember it and try to answer yourselves for that picture provided to you. I am coming to reading A. It's a story about a successful boy who is differently abled. Differently abled. And it is written in third person narrative. Let me tell you what it is a narration style is. Whenever a narration starts with I, a pronoun I, first person singular pronoun I, it's going to be a first person narrative, because we have already come across there are certain pronouns we learned. The table we know, pronouns table. This is singular, plural. First person, second person, third person. When a narrator, in the sense writer, uses this I, in the sense the writer is telling about himself or herself. So this is first person narrative, so that it automatically becomes autobiography. Autobiography. When the narrator uses, advocating somebody else, can use you. It's a kind of conversation. It can be called a story narrative, can be like this, a dialogue can be like that, any interview. Such kind. In a story, when the direct speech is used, there is a chance of using you. And in an interview, obviously the interviewer and interviewed, there will be a dialogue between two and address each other. So that the most convenient way to use this second person narrative is that. And here is the place for third person. He, she, it. Third person singular or plural, anything. So a story can be narrated without any of the direct speech. And such kind of things usually Biography. Biography is nothing but writing about some other person. If somebody writes about themselves, that becomes autobiography. And biographies can be addressed like this: a male person, female person, or neuter gender. So this is the way we can narrate a story. Here it is, third person narrative, and David Nastor has written it for us. And let me tell you why we are going to learn about this true height. This is a success story of a wonderful pole vaulter. Pole jump is a game in Olympics. So it is just like a high jump, but high jump is minimized to a certain height. But pole jump can be of nearly 6 meters, 7 meters, like that, using a pole to jump, which is a flexible pole, and with the help of that, a trained person can jump so high. Okay, and you will watch it in the video here. Follow this. Okay, so watch it.
Hopefully the frustration can add to his energy. 6 meters 18 to add a centimetre, as I say, to his own world record from last week. He did in Turan in Poland. Mom Helena has followed him throughout this indoor season. Right then, American-born Swede Armand Duplantis, 20 years of age. In the space of a week, a world record beckons. 6 meters 18 for Mondo. Has he got enough today? Yes, he has! Unbelievable! He is on a roll. That is just incredible.
You really want me to come and say something in here, Steve? Not a clue what to say. How easy was that? One moment he was waiting, confusion on the track because the there's a problem with the gun, so they can't start a race. Is he going to go? Isn't he? He gets to the end of the runway, comes down, and easy as you like. 6 meters, 18 centimeters, and a new world record.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. 20 years of age, 2 times world record holder, 6:17 a week ago in Poland. He eased his way into this competition. 6 meters made to look easy. 6 meters 18 adds a centimetre and makes an afternoon's work an historic one with a lifetime world record. How about that? Let's have a look at this. He may even have more, you know. Rocks back, he's so tidy, committed, fast on the approach. There's daylight there.
He's gapped it, he's gapped it. Look at that, look at that, look at that. This record.
By that you can understand what it is pole vaulting is. Yes. Children, you have observed this, a short video of pole vaulting, a world record. And in the video the person has done it excellent. But in our story, True Height, the person who achieved that, a small boy, remarkably he was blind. You just imagine how difficult it is for a person like achieving this, being blind. If we have all the elements with us, successful, able to watch, we can have some proper idea of running, jumping, reaching the astroturf, everything will be fine. But having no eyes, how one can, how difficult it is. So, we are going to read about him. Let us see. This story talks about the feelings of an athlete as he pursues his dream. Read about a nerve-wracking day in Michael Stone's life as he prepares to take the ultimate test of his sports career. It is an awe-inspiring achievement that will leave you breathless. So, we are expected to personify with the fellow as if we were there in the gallery. You know, out of your particular class, many of you have participated at state level competitions, athletic competitions. So, most of you have an experience of how it would be the environment there in the gallery and cheering up for your favorite athlete. So even this pole vault comes under that, athletics. Let us see. Because the writer was describing the situation there where that character whom we call this champion, Mike, and his actual situation before he is about to take a leap for the jump. His palms were sweating. He needed a towel to dry his grip. A glass of ice water quenched his thirst, but hardly cooled his intensity. The AstroTurf he sat on was as hot as the competition he faced today at the National Junior Olympics. The pole was set at 17 feet. That was 3 inches higher than his personal best. Michael Stone confronted the most challenging day of his pole vaulting career. The stands were still filled with about 20,000 people, even though the final race had ended an hour earlier. So, he was at the place where the competition is being taken, and he was also a participant. You know, there would be a kind of nervousness before we start anything. Even for a teacher before to start the very first class of the year, even for you to stand up in the class and ask for a doubt for the first time, hope you could feel it, a kind of nervousness. But once we do it, we can successfully overcome and proceed further. Okay? Likewise, the boy Michael, he is participating in the National Junior Olympics. It's not so easy to reach the Olympic Games. So, he might have experienced well and trained well himself. Even that boy has some kind of nervousness because the pole was set at 17 feet. His best was only 14 feet. And now it is the target 17 feet, 3 feet higher than his best. And so he was feeling all the hotness. He was sitting on the AstroTurf. AstroTurf in the sense, as it is nowadays, we are maintaining some artificial grass in our front yard, backyard like that. That is called AstroTurf. Though he was sitting there, he was feeling the zeal in the mind so that he feels the temperature over there. The pole vault is truly the glamour event of any track and field competition. The sportsman combines the grace of gymnast and the strength of a bodybuilder. Pole vaulting also has the element of flying, and the thought of flying as high as 2-storied building is a mere fantasy to anyone watching such an event. Today, it is not only Michael Stone's reality and dream, it is his quest in the sense, it ought to be done, without that we cannot live. Such is the quest. So what it is a prerequisite for getting trained up, participating, competing in this pole vault. So first of all, the participant is supposed to be a good runner, because for a long distance one is supposed to run and leap the body and jump with the help of a pole. and at the same time to be strong enough like a bodybuilder. Okay? A lean fellow cannot make. So we should have all the strength and speed of a sprinter. These two combinations should be there for a pole vault player. As long as Michael could remember, he had always dreamed of flying. Michael's mother read him numerous stories about flying when he was growing up. Her stories were always the ones that described the land from a bird's eye view. Her excitement and passion for details, Michael's dreams full of color and beauty. Michael had this one recurring dream. He would be running down a country road. He could feel the rocks and chunks of dirt at his feet. As he raced down the golden lined wheat fields, he would always outrun the locomotives passing by. He would begin soaring like an eagle. You know, on reading this paragraph, I recollect Shivaji the Maratha king. In primary classes, social studies, you could have learnt about Shivaji and his mother Jijabai. The role of Jijabai in preparing Shivaji as a great hero of Maratha kingdom is very much remarkable. We could recollect that Jijabai had taught the heroic stories from Mahabharata and Ramayana, preferably Mahabharata, to the young Shivaji, and that contributed him to become a savior for all the Hindu people during the times of Mughals. Likewise, here is the role of Michael's mother. Michael's mother used to tell all the flying stories. What do you mean the flying stories? In the sense, about the people who succeeded in this pole vaulting. All the stories are related to that only. You know, one thing, when we keep on dwelling in something, routine, we always get associated with that. It can be understood by elderly people. If we are in a bad company for a long time, we will become bad. If we are in a good company, automatically we think of good. So what it is our surrounding? What is our thought process? What kind of habits we are getting acquired from the nearby environment? All these decide our characteristics. So likewise, Michael, who got associated with numerous stories about flying, automatically molded his destination and he started dreaming of that continuously. Where if you would always coincide with his mother's stories. It's a power of imagination. One could imagine. One could imagine. Power of imagination can make us feel so proud, happy and energized. As he was blind, the story what mother says, he could imagine. He could imagine. And once he was practicing or participating in the competition, once he lifted his body for the pole jump, he could feel that, yeah, my mother was telling the same. So when we have the power of getting associated with the ideas, with the action, there lies success. Simple matter it is. Okay? Where if you would always coincide with his mother's stories, his dad, on the other hand, was not a dreamer. He's a practical man. Father's name, Bert Stone. Bert Stone was a hardcore realist. He believed in hard work and sweat. His motto, if you want something, work for it. Simple pro forma. Anybody can practice. There was a saying, people say, practice makes man perfect. Of course, woman also makes perfect. So when we practice, before we practice, we should have an idea in the mind. Idea is nothing but our dream. So you need to dream of and you need to put in action, work for it, by and by automatically we succeed. From the age of 14, Michael did just that. What? Working for it. He had a dream since his childhood and he dreamt of that. Imagine that in his mind and put in practice. You just imagine how a blind boy can practice running. How a blind boy can imagine where the pole is set up. What is the height set up. Okay? Without a vision, one cannot assess that. So that is the difficulty here in the story. From the age of 14, Michael did just that. He began a very careful and regimented weightlifting program. Regimented. Which is very difficult to do. Workouts. In general, we call it workouts. Weightlifting is not so easy. He worked out every other day with weights, with some kind of running work on alternate days. The program was carefully monitored by Michael's coach, trainer and father. So there is no other and special coach for Michael, his own dad. Bert Stone, he monitored all the practice of his own son. Michael's dedication, determination and discipline was a coach's dream. You know, for anything we need some discipline. Discipline doesn't mean not talking and keeping quiet. No. A certain way of behavior is called discipline. A discipline of a child in studies is comprehending the listening, comprehending the reading, comprehending the visual, making their own mind for that, and grasping the content. That's all. Discipline of study. And discipline of games and all. Imagine our PhD teachers might be teaching you, instructing you what are the rules and regulations to be followed for some volleyball game or Coco game, anything. How it is to be practiced in the field when you go out for play. This is what discipline of games. Okay, so that only the discipline can make somebody to progress in the right way. Besides being an honor student, Michael Stone continued to help his parents with their farm course. Michael's persistence in striving for perfection was not only his obsession but his passion. Yeah. This is a very important. One should have a passion about something. What is a passion? Passion is something more than a desire. More than a desire. I like it. Like is a small thing. If you don't get it, you shift it to something else. But whereas if you have a passion, you work for it and try to conquer it. You like to have a compulsory experience of that what you are expecting for. That is called a passion. Okay? Passion is something much more stronger than an ordinary like. Okay? So he was such a kind of boy. And still, practicing this, he was helping parents. Mildred Stone, this is the mother. Mildred Stone, Michael's mother, wished that he could relax a bit more and be that free dreaming little boy. On one occasion she attempted to talk to him and his father about this, but his dad quickly interrupted, smiled and said, "You want something? Work for it." Yeah, usually mothers are like that. Mothers are excessively caring and loving. Excessive. When I say excessive, more than wanted. They feel that if you are doing something, probably you might be exhausted and probably you are not safe, probably you might be hurt. This is what the excessive love of a mother. But on the other hand, father would like to give the experience of everything a hardship. The only difference between the father and mother would like to make you feel happy by all the time, cooking everything for you and making everything ready for you and all. But father would make you perfect, providing a situation, providing a self-experience. Okay? So, mother has brought you to the society and father makes you ready for the society. Okay? This is the only difference. Likewise, father seems to be a little tough. Okay? Yes. So, here even Michael's father said, if you want something, work for it. But mother was feeling the boy was very little and working hard for, so the training program can be relaxed. But father's opinion is to make the boy a champion. All of Michael's words today seemed to be the reward for his hard work. If Michael Stone was surprised, thrilled or arrogant about clearing the bar at 17 feet, you couldn't tell. Bar in the sense, the stick which can be arranged on two of the poles to add certain height to overcome by jumping. Michael immediately began preparing for his next attempt at flight. He seemed oblivious of the fact that he had just surpassed his personal best by 3 inches and that he was one of the final 2 competitors in the pole vaulting event at the National Junior Olympics. As many of you have participated in the athletic competitions, we know the competition continues so far. Only one competitor makes the best performance. So in the first paragraph, as it is said, 17 feet is set as the height for pole vaulting. He overcame that. Along with him, one more boy. Excuse me. One more boy was there, a competitor. Now, out of these 2 competitors, one is supposed to make something more and better. They remain victorious. So, by surpassing 17 feet, it didn't end. More effort is supposed to be. Michael cleared the bar at 17 feet and 2 inches. And 17 feet 4 inches. 2 inches height is increased in the competition. So both attempts he fulfilled. Again he showed no emotion, because we have some greater and higher estimation, so that a player never gets satisfied with something smaller. Constant preparation and determination were his vision. As he lay on his back and heard the crowd groan, he knew the other vaulter had missed his final jump. Though he was blind, he could guess how audience can react to a successful attempt and failed attempt. So this time, the competitor failed that he could understand. Michael needed to clear this vault to win. A miss would get him second place. Nothing to be ashamed of, but Michael would not allow himself the thought of not winning first place. Always we need to aim for the best. Okay? So, as usual, even Michael. He rolled over and did his ritual of 3 finger-tipped push-ups. He found his pole, stood and stepped on the runway that led to the most challenging event of his 17-year-old life. So it's going to be the final. If you miss, there is no chance again. As if we heard of cricket World Cup. Do or die it is. Do or die. So each team is supposed to feel like that. Okay. If it is not this time, it can't be any other time. Okay. Now or never. This is the motto. Each participant in any field should feel and bear in the mind. Okay. So we need to put all the efforts of our ability. The runway felt different this time. It startled him for a brief moment. Then it all hit him like a wet bale of hay. The bar was set at 9 inches higher than his personal best. That's only 1 inch off the national record, he thought. The intensity of the moment filled his mind with anxiety. He began shaking off the tension from his body. It wasn't working. You know, when we are supposed to attempt something so high, there would be a kind of shivering in the body. The heart might be shivering. There might be a kind of fear. If one could take the pulse, we can feel that pulse is very low. It happens. When we overcome that stage, we succeed. He began shaking off the tension from his body. It wasn't working. He became more tense. Why is this happening to me now? He thought. He began to get nervous. Afraid would be a more accurate description. When we are really terrified, frightened, the body shivers, startles, okay, like that. And we need to overcome by trying by any of the means. That's what if we do observe, the sprinters and all swimmers, they keep on shivering like this to overcome that inner feeling. He began to get nervous. Afraid would be more accurate description. What was he going to do? He had never experienced these feelings. Then, out of nowhere and from the deepest depths of his souls, he envisioned his mother. In general, whenever we feel something so fearsome, we pray God. And here for Michael, the only inspiration is mother, who used to tell all the inspirational stories right from the childhood. So he envisioned, in his mind he felt the memory of the mother telling him the story. When we recollect some God, automatically we become brave. Likewise, he envisioned his mother. Why no? What was his mother doing in his thoughts at a time like this? It was simple. His mother always used to tell him, when you felt tense, anxious, or even scared, to take deep breath. You know, inhale can make your body calm. When you are so nervous, just do it for about 10 times. Your body becomes normal and you can cope up with difficult situation. So he did. He followed the same. Along with shaking the tension from legs, he gently laid his pole at his feet. He began to stretch out his arm and upper body. The light breeze that was once there was now gone. So everything became normal. He could feel a trickle of cold sweat running down his back. He carefully picked up his pole. He felt his heart pounding. He was sure the crowd did too. The silence was deafening. So, whenever there is a fear overcoming us and occupying our mind, we couldn't hear anything outside. Okay? When he heard the singing of some distant robins in flight, he knew it was his time to fly. So, all the symptoms are very good. He could feel very much normal. Spirits rose, and the very image of mother in the mind could get him normal, and then he started. Okay? As he began sprinting down the runway, something felt wonderfully different and familiar. The surface below him felt like the country road he used to dream about. The rocks and chunks of dirt, the visions of the golden wheat fields seemed to fill his thoughts. When he took a deep breath, it happened. He began to fly. His takeoff was effortless. Michael Stone was flying just as in his childhood dreams. Only this time he knew he wasn't dreaming. This was real. Everything seemed to be moving in slow motion. The air around him was the purest and freshest he had ever since. Michael was soaring with the majesty of an eagle. You know, eagle could fly so calm for long distances. Likewise, it was either the eruption of the people in the stands of the thumbs of his landing that brought Michael back to earth. On his back, with that wonderful hot sun on his face, he could only envision the smile on his mother's face. All this is purely imagination. He could reach, he could create a wonder, he could record the national, international best in the Junior Olympics. Then he felt how the mother might be so happy, because he couldn't see even the mother. He knew his dad was probably smiling too, even laughing, but would always do that when he got excited. Smile and then sort of giggle. Father used to do like that. He is not so expressive because he is a man of action. What he didn't know was that his dad was hugging his wife and crying. So more than expectation, the father did. The father could feel all the joy of his son recording the national best. He was crying harder than Mildred had ever seen before. She also knew he was crying the greatest tears of all, tears of pride. All the time tears may not symbolize sorrow. Sometimes it also can symbolize when we are so happy, automatically we do get some tears. Michael was immediately swamped with people hugging and congratulating him on the greatest accomplishment of his life. He was swamped, surrounded by all people. So, people would like to share the joy. So, from the gallery, people ran towards him and surrounded him. He later went on that day to clear 17 feet 6.5 inches, a national and international junior Olympics record. When there is enough encouragement, one can achieve anything. Now all the audience are on his side, cheering up for him so he could achieve. With all the media attention and heartfelt congratulations, Michael's life would never be the same. It wasn't just because he won the National Junior Olympics and set a new world record. And it wasn't because he had just increased his personal best by 9.5 inches. It was simply because Michael Stone was blind. A blind player achieving this national and international record is really remarkable. So that it is the most inspirational lesson for us to proceed in our lives. Okay? So we stop here, and the related comprehension paragraph will be given for you as worksheet, and you please read it, try to comprehend and make answers properly. And it is already mentioned in your worksheet at the bottom step. The worksheet, completed worksheet, to be taken as a pic in your mobile, and that is to be sent to Dhanalakshmi madam. Okay? And her contact number is also provided in the worksheet. So please do it and follow it. And in the next class we come to the other grammatical elements of the lesson along with the next reading bee. Okay? Thank you children. Have a good time.